Hi all. Today we will see realism, another prominent Western philosophy which has influence on education. So realism and education. So first of all, let us see the principles of realism. So the name itself, realism. So the real experiences is given more emphasis according to realist. Experience is influenced by external world, and that external world is solid or reality. So experiences in the external world, that the physical world in which we are existing. So that is the reality according to realist. So what is really experiencing to all of us, to human beings? So that has got supreme importance. So that's the basic and more significant principle according to realism. So the present world and the experiences uh, we are obtaining from this particular world is real, and belief in human endeavor. That's another important principle of realism. Human beings, as we see in the case of humanism, the capacities of human beings, they valued the capacities, the proficiencies of human beings, as well as the significance of a combination of science and common sense. So the capacity of human beings to live, to do things scientifically, but based on common sense. So they gave an emphasis to common sense also. How to do things at specific situations. That shows our common sense. So there is an error in common sense. It's common sense. There is a spelling error. Okay. That's, so that common sense, that sense to do things, apply things at specific situations, especially during the time of some crisis and all, and do things scientifically. So a combination of science and common sense, that's the human endeavor according to realism. Then mind, human mind has mechanical functioning. So mind is mechanical, it is there, and it will function on its own based on our experiences and exposure. So we are we are subjected to different kinds of experiences, and our mind will function based on such experiences we are come across in our daily life. Then another important principle with regard to knowledge, they believed in systematized knowledge. So what is systematized knowledge? That type of knowledge generated or acquired through scientific method, experimentation, observation, etc. So that form of knowledge, that type of knowledge acquired or arrived at through scientific method, experimentation, observation, etc. So in any of these cases, all these are basically some kind of scientific methods, scientific activities, systematic process, systematic procedure to arrive knowledge. Knowledge gathered through observation. Knowledge acquired by experimentation. Knowledge by practicing scientific method. So such type of knowledge is systematized knowledge, and realists believed in such kind of knowledge, not any bookish knowledge or not any authoritative knowledge, not knowledge received from some written documents or persons like that. And they believed in objective values. So these are some of the major principles of realism. Experiences and external world have supreme importance. Belief in human endeavor. The functioning of human mind based on the experiences and external world. Then the type of systematized or systematic knowledge. Then the aims of education. Aims of education according to realism. No general aims. That's in the different schools of philosophy that we have discussed so far. There are specific, there are some general as well as specific aims. So in the case of realism, it do not propose general aims, but the aims of education are specific to individual. So individualistic aims, no aims such as self-realization. So the aims are specific to individual. Each person shall develop an aim of education of her own or his own. And the aim of education, according to realist, is not to produce a scholar, but a person of affairs. Not to produce a scholar. There is no meaning in producing scholars, means those who are learning so many things. A large quantity of knowledge, acquiring a large quantity of knowledge, as in the case of humans also. They also say that there is no meaning in acquiring large quantity of knowledge, but to know how to learn. Here, what the realism propose is that not to produce a scholar. So education should not be on acquiring knowledge, but a person of affairs. Means those who are able to contribute well, intervene well in things, make use of experiences for development. That's meant by a man of affairs. So that's one of the aims of education. Then education should prepare for happy and successful life. So that's another aim of education. Prepare for happy and successful life. Then prepare for real life, because they gave emphasis to real experience. So what is the real world in which the learner is living or going to live in the future? So education should prepare them for the real life. So naturally, training of senses, means sense organs, the five senses, there shall be training for each sense organ, how to. So this training means how to utilize these senses to gather information from around the world. So for experiencing the world, we need to see, hear, smell, touch, taste. So all these senses shall be properly trained. In our regular education, we have uh, less emphasis, except for some vision and hearing. That also is restricted. Not maximum provision for observing by vision or hearing. The touch, sound, smell, etc. are very, very, very minute, or at least in very, very lower stage of schooling. So, what actually realism meant to train the senses to gather experience or to make use of accurate observation. Then acquaint with social environment. That's another aim of education. So education shall be in a social environment. So naturally, the aim of education is to acquaint with the characteristics of the social world in which the learner is existing, and they stress importance of vocational education. So vocation is essential, a job is essential. So job oriented education shall be, their education shall be oriented towards occupation. So these are some of the major aims of education according to realism. Then curriculum. So the unique contribution of realism is in the field of curriculum, because they introduce science in curriculum. Because we already see when we discussed about the principles of realism, they talk about scientific method, experimentation, observation, etc. So inclusion of science, that's a remarkable contribution in curriculum for the first time. So if we want to do things scientifically, learn scientifically, study scientifically, live scientifically, we need to learn what is science and what is the method of science and how to make use of different things to learn science. Okay. And second place too. So the prime importance to science and arts, literature, humanities, etc. provided only successive places, second, third places. So that also is there in their curriculum, not only science, but arts, literature, humanities, everything is in their curriculum, but prime importance to science. And their view towards curriculum is that curriculum shall be practical and useful. So curriculum shall be practical and useful. There is no meaning in adding so much content in the curriculum, but it shall be practical and useful, because the aim of education is to prepare learners for real life. So naturally, the inclusions in the curriculum shall be practical and useful. And the curriculum also should enable all-round development of the learners. So that's about their vision of curriculum, prime importance to science, but they included arts, literature, humanities, etc., and a practical and a useful curriculum which help all-round development of children. Then regarding method of teaching. So in method of teaching also they have contributed much. The methods generally they suggest based on observation, experimentation, experiences. So these three are the focus methods proposed by realism: observation, experimentation, experiences. Then inductive method, of course, related with the inclusion of science. Scientific method, of course, is there. Then an interesting method, learning by traveling. So that's a very, very significant method. A person, a learner, can learn from direct experiences. So in the basic principle of realism itself, it is mentioned that experiences in this external world are real. So in order to get a real life experiences of the external world, a learner is required to travel. So traveling is a rich source of learning. So it is suggested as an important method of teaching as well as learning. Learning by traveling. Then critical reasoning through observation. So observation is the base, and based on observation we can make our own critical reasoning. So scientific method, that also is suggested by them because they gave so much importance to science. So also observation, experimentation, experiences, inductive method, etc. So the teacher, a realist teacher. So according to realism, teaching itself is considered as a way to serve mankind. So teaching is considered as a service. It's a service to mankind because it helps to develop each individual in the society. So in that viewpoint, it's a great service. And the nature of the teacher shall be a midway between idealist teacher and naturalist teacher. An idealist teacher is an impressionist teacher. Teacher is everything in an idealist classroom. The personality of teacher is so much important because the charisma of the teacher is the guru as the supreme position in the class. As an extreme opposite in the case of naturalism, there is not much importance to personality of the teacher, but how a teacher provide opportunity for learners to learn, a supportive role only. And here, what realism demand for a teacher, it's a midway between an idealist teacher and a naturalist teacher. Then teacher shall be subjective in knowledge and objective in teaching. That's a very remarkable principle. Subjective in knowledge means, of course, the subject knowledge. Teacher shall be knowledgeable in the subject she or he handle. So that is subjective in knowledge. Thorough with the subject. And objective in teaching. Teacher should be genuine and impartial. That's meant by objective in teaching. Objective teaching. Not the objective based teaching. That also is important. But that naturally comes with that subject part. So how far objective is the teacher? How far impartial? How far genuine? So a teacher shall be impartial, genuine, and having thorough subject knowledge. Then teacher shall inspire learners. So that's the duty of teacher. Just to inspire them for observation, inspire them for conducting experiments, inspire them to follow scientific method. Teach what learners need to survive. So for the future, what learners need for their survival. So a teacher shall teach those things, not things in the books, but how to survive successfully in the real world. How can make use of their experiences for betterment of their life, to enhance the quality of their life. So that's the duty of the teacher. Then teacher shall be able to employ psychological and scientific methods. So that's another remarkable suggestion for teachers. Teachers need to make use of psychological methods as well as scientific methods. Psychological methods are essential to cater to the needs of individual differences because each individual is unique and the aim of education is specific to learner. So psychological methods are highly significant, and at the same time teacher shall follow scientific method. Only when teacher follows scientific method, a learner can understand how they can follow scientific method. So these are some of the characteristics required for a realist teacher. Then regarding freedom and discipline, school, according to realism, shall be like lap of the mother. Wow. What is the significance of this lap of the mother? It is the safest place for a child, secure and safe, covered with love and affection. So that's the uniqueness of a mother's lap. So school should be such a place, just a synonym to mother's lap. So much safe, secure with love and affection, care, etc. So in that place, a child will be very free. Education shall be fair, no compulsion, no suppression. So naturally, discipline shall be self-discipline, developed by interaction with other learners and with the environment. So they suggested realism, suggested discipline shall be developed by individual selves by continuous interaction with other learners, teachers, as well as the environment. And there is a link for additional reading from Britannica regarding realism. You can make use of that. So that's all about a brief presentation on realism. So thanks for watching the presentation. Thank you all.